Well, hello, everybody out there in the You Are Worthy Network. Hope you guys are having an incredible week and a wonderful Thursday. Um, here in Memphis, Tennessee, it feels a lot like winter. And those of you in colder climates, I know you're laughing at me even as I say that. But it has been getting below 30 degrees lately, and it's drizzling. There might even be a scattered flurry or so. Hey, look, I get it. I lived 7 years in the Midwest, and I know the Midwest just got pelted with a foot of snow. So who am I to complain? I'm not complaining, by the way. I'm just giving facts about a snowflake or two. Yeah, but I'm just saying it's gray, it's raining, it's just winter. It got on us quick this year. But anyway, enough about the weather. I'm so excited to be with you guys, and I'm excited to introduce you to our awesome guest. You're going to love her. You're going to love what she shares. You're going to love how real she is. I think a lot of you are going to relate to her. But let's let her bio tell us a little bit about her, and then we'll jump in. Okay, so Carrie Myers helps midlife moms cultivate true, unshakable confidence and get into their alignment with their God given assignment to create an amazing second half. Her motto: you're not too late, you're right on time. Carrie's coaching program, Cracking the Confidence Code, uncovers the root of our worth and identity in Jesus, helping women build a firm foundation on which real confidence is built. As a health psychologist and certified coach, Carrie fuses her education with personal experience and has touched thousands of women with her writing, coaching, and speaking. Love it. Love it. Carrie, welcome to the Your Worthy Network.
Thank you, Steve. I'm so happy to be here. I just got to say, can you see back there?
Is that snow?
That's more than just a snowflake.
That's more than a, yeah. So you were trying to hold your laughter in, I'm
I
sure.
was, I was. We got close to a foot or so,
Oh
maybe
my
maybe like nine
goodness.
inches. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we loved our time. We were in the ministry in the Midwest for several years, and I always knew such a difference from the South. The snowfall is different, but the preparations and
yes.
aftermath are totally different too. And I used to hear the plows coming through our neighborhood at 4:30 in the morning,
Hmm.
and I would go back to sleep. But I was like, everything's cool. I know I can go on the main roads because the neighborhoods are plowed.
Right, right.
But but here in Memphis, we might own one snowplow, and I don't know where it goes. It may go into hiding, but we just don't have the equipment down here.
Yeah.
It's just a totally different ball game. That is funny though.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just down in West Virginia, and my nephew was saying it's so weird that people do snow tires and, summer tires or all seasons, and it's just what we have to do up here to be ready for it.
Yeah,
So,
you really do. They just don't budget for it in the South because it's such an infrequent thing. I will say definitely the last 2 years, maybe three. I mean, for a southern city, I think we got 7 inches once last winter, and then maybe another one of 2 or 3, which obviously is not a lot. But trust me, 2 or 3 will cripple
yeah, yeah, it's
a
just
city
enough
in
to
the
make
South.
a
It's
mess of the.
7 inches, forget about it. Everything's closed. Every milk and bread is gone. Soon it was in the forecast a week before. It's nuts. Anyway, enough about the weather. When I was reading your bio, Carrie, and I know you help women, but I thought I love this comment because I think it's for everybody. You're not too late. You're right on time.
Yeah.
I had a business coach that really had to work with me on that.
Hmm.
That, and a lot of it was my impatience, a lot of it was frustration. Um, and we'll get into the business part here in a minute, but I'm just saying I love that. You're right where you're supposed to be. Keep doing what you're doing. timing's up to God. And I just wanted to compliment you on that. I love that saying.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and he can use everything like in this hustle culture, right? We always feel like we've got to push harder and harder and we can't keep up with everyone and it's so easy to fall into that comparison trap, especially with the internet now. Um, but knowing that you're just you can't go back and, start where you want to be there. You are where you're at, and God can use everything that you've done to this point. And I just think too, as like a midlife mom myself, um, it's I want other women to know and men that it's not too late to start something new. That we can feel like we get to this point in our lives and kind of feel like, well, I guess this is it. Right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of defeating, isn't that just be like, well, this is it. I guess that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, one Carrie, I don't know if you know this or not, but one of on the banner that I have, you can't see it on the virtual background, but on the banner on Facebook on the You Are Worthy Network, at the bottom, it says your story's not over yet.
That's right.
And I was just having this conversation with someone the other day. Um, Matter of fact, it might have been with the person I interviewed yesterday, that's an amazing interview too. Terry is 83 years old,
Mhm.
became a coach at 60, became a podcaster at 78. And just this past year, right before her 83rd birthday, she has started going to public speaking school.
Wow. I love
And,
it.
and I do too. I love
Yeah.
that. And I think I was telling her offline that I look at the things that God has allowed me to do. A lot of it's happened between 40 and, I'm 56 now. A lot of
Mhm.
it's happened between 40 and 55.
Yep.
So it's not too late, and we are right on time. So let's go back in time a little bit. So you showed us that well, I don't know if I want to say amazing snowfall. See, that's kind of stuff I don't like to look at anymore. It kind of gives me, tremors. But you're way up in New England, right?
Yes. Yes. We're in northern New Hampshire. So if you split New Hampshire into thirds, we're in the bottom part of the top third. So in the White Mountains, it's beautiful. Um, and can be cold. But I grew up in Western New York, which is also cold and
Mm.
snowy. But yeah, when we moved here, I was 14. My grandmother was so worried that we were going to freeze to death because out there on the news, they show the temperature on top of Mount Washington, which is a little bit colder than what it is, in regular parts here. But yeah, I've lived here since I was 14. We moved here because my parents were with mission called American Mission for Opening Churches. And there was a small group of people here who wanted a Bible church opened in Lisbon, New Hampshire. And so I was not happy with my parents when we moved here. It was literally so in 1982, pre-internet and everything, it was like being
Mm.
moved to a different country. Literally, the language was different, the fashion was different. I couldn't, that strong New England accent where they drop the R's where they're supposed to be and they plump them in, plunk them into words where they shouldn't be. I'm just like, what? And I was the one that got picked on for my accent. So it was rough. It was a rough beginning. I did not, I was so not happy with my parents. And then to move here, there were very few Bible believing churches, and to move here, as we call it, an MPK, a missionary pastor's kid, just made it that much harder.
I don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't hear the accent.
My accent,
Yeah.
it
You're
has
you're
stuck.
new.
Oh, I don't have a New England accent. I made
That's
sure of that.
amazing though, because you've lived
But
there since 14.
Yes, but there's over the years fewer and fewer true natives, like people move to different areas. It's kind of
Hmm.
like even in the South, some of the Southern accent has left in certain areas, right? So it's not as prevalent. And no, I made sure that I still speak phonetically. But my New York accent, my Western New York accent has softened some also.
I
So,
see. So when you say Western New York, of course, I think of Buffalo. Are we talking about
yeah,
Buffalo or somewhere else?
yes. So we were, yes, if you go out across Interstate 90 to Rochester, it's south of there about 45 minutes. So,
I'm feeling wimpy. Like I spent a week in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I know they have very similar weather to Buffalo.
mhm.
And I won't go too far into it, but my wife and I were at a job at that time, and we were kind of trying it out. I mean, we'd been on it for a while, and we were kind of transitioning out of that job, and we ended up in Erie for a week as we were transitioning out. And it was a week before Halloween, and it started snowing, and that lake effect snow and cold and wind. We're like, we're out of here. We're going back south.
Yes, true blizzards with the lake effect snow. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know Buffalo knows all about that for
Yes.
sure.
And go Bills.
I like the Bills. I really do. They're not my favorite
And
team,
the
but I do like them.
and the Pats. I'll.
Yeah, see, I love Josh. I love Josh Allen, and I'd love to
Yeah.
see him get a ring, but we don't need to talk about the Pats. Uh, they've got
Okay.
they've done well enough.
That's true. Let someone else have some time, right?
Right, right, right. So, I know you're helping women now, and you've been doing that for a while,
Mhm.
but you weren't always in the entrepreneur space, right? So you were doing something else, psychologist of some kind, is
Well,
that right?
so no, so my bachelor's degree is in exercise science. And then spent all the money on the degree and then ended up being a stay-at-home mom.
Uh,
But during that time, after my fourth son, um, I needed some intellectual stimulation and started freelance writing and was just very blessed to not have to be one of those starving writers that had to write for free. I had hit, God led me to this one editor, and she took me under her wings and, started getting assignments from her. So I've actually been a freelance writer and editor for, let's see, my youngest son is 27. So for that long, because it was the summer that he was born that I started that. So I actually have been an entrepreneur for many, many years. And, between that and then I started, personal training, and teaching fitness classes, teaching workshops, and then getting invited to speak at different places. So it just has been many, many years of doing that sort of thing. I was actually in the very first, I don't know if you're familiar with well coaches, but I think it was 2001 or 2002 when they came on the scene, and I was in their very first certification class. Um, and so I've always liked the idea of the coaching model. Um, and then down the road, fast forward to like, I don't know, it was 2015 or something, I got certified from the Health Coach Institute because it resonated a little bit more with me because I've always been yeah, but what about this kind, right? Like I would see coaching as a black and white thing. There was always like, yeah, but what about, you know, this obstacle or, mostly like emotional and mental obstacles, um, and changing the mindset. Um, and so, yeah, and I do different things because up here, Steve, you have to do a bunch of different, if you're going to be an entrepreneur. So, and in
mm,
addition to, so the freelance writing and editing and the speaking and the teaching and training, I have, COVID hit Remember that in 2020? Um,
Yeah.
so it
Unfortunately.
pretty much killed a lot of my business because it was all done in person. At the time, I was also working in cardiac rehab part-time at a local hospital. And they closed the department, and I was like, okay, God, what am I going to do now?
Wow.
And so that's when I ended up getting a contract writing and editing gig with a magazine that I still actually do. But I also started really, I tried a couple different business partners with coaching that didn't work out. One didn't work out. The other one I kind of felt led to do more of my own thing. And I'm like, I just started praying, Lord, what do you want me to focus on? Like women have, I've always had a heart for serving women. It's funny. I was recycling a newspaper just yesterday and I saw these little ads. I'm like, oh my gosh, it just triggered this memory of back in the early 90s. I had put a little tiny ad in a local paper about, helping and coaching women. And I've always had that heart. My first book was published in 2004 for women, called Squeezing Your Size 14 Self into a Size 6 World, a real woman's guide, a real woman's guide to food, fitness, and self-acceptance. Um, and so I've always had that heart for women. Um, but a couple years ago, I started really praying, just, Lord, what do you want me to do? Not satisfied with my work right now. And I've always had this heart for women, but how do you want me to coach them? Is it in the health, space? Is it in more of the that faith-based? And I'll be honest, like even though I accepted Jesus as my savior at 14 and grew up, a preacher's kid. I was very steeped in the rules of religion. So, um, I never really nurtured that close relationship with God. Um, so 2 or 3 years ago, I started connecting with some women who they referred to God as Papa God, and I was like, oh, I want that.
Mm.
I want that kind of relationship with God. And so I really started praying and started becoming bolder about my faith online. And so the what I heard God tell me is, I want you to coach women on confidence. I said, okay, because confidence is an area that I've struggled with. And so I started putting, program together and kept thinking, but there's still something missing here. There's still something. And I know from all the years of working with women, so many of us struggle with the worth piece. And I said, okay, Lord, so what about that? And he's like, well, I want you to focus on the worth. And here's the thing about worth. I can't coach anyone to have more of it, right? We have, and this is what I try to teach and coach women, we have all the worth that we're going to have when we're born or when we're conceived, really. Like the moment that we're conceived, we have our worth, we have our value. I can't coach anyone to have more of it. I can coach people to integrate that and to believe it more and to live it, anchor into it, but I can't coach anyone to have more worth. We both, you and I, we have equal amounts of worth. And on a human level, right? We're all equal. So I think that was the biggest one, and anchoring into that, and that is where true unshakable confidence comes from, right? Because if I'm counting on my confidence coming from the number of likes I get on this post, the nice comments people say about it, and what is it going to take? One negative one for it to all come crashing down, right?
Oh, yeah, let's camp there for a minute. Um, yeah, I had a feeling that you were going to say what you said at the beginning of this explanation, like you're helping women with their confidence because it's something you struggle with yourself. That didn't surprise me. I was going to ask you that, but you answered that in flow. And um, worth is fascinating. Obviously, that's what we're all about with this network. Um, and it is for you guys listening out there. This is for you too.
Yes.
I had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and I love what he's doing with men. He's got a program called I Don't Talk About It, but I Know I Should. And I was like, that sums up us guys for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
I have four sons, so I totally get it. Yep.
we want to talk about it. Sometimes we don't know how,
Mhm.
or because we've been trained from this culture
That you shouldn't.
to don't cry, pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Mhm.
That's just the way it is. And it's just a bunch of unnecessary machoisms.
Yes.
So that's part of my role is to tell the guys out there, you can still be a macho dude, but real men of Jesus are able to talk about the matters of the heart. So I just
Amen.
wanted to
Yeah.
get that out there for sure. Um, so yeah, you've been in the space for quite a while. I love the name of your first book, by the way. Um, let's go there for a second. How many books total have you written?
Just that one, along with
Okay.
some oh, I did a perinatal fitness course, and there's a workbook that goes along with my book. I've had books planned, um, and I've started my next one, that is actually on confidence, goes along with my course. But yeah, so far just that one. Um, I'm too busy writing articles. So
Right.
by the time my brain get, at the end of the day, it's like, ugh, and I don't know if I can write anything else, but yes, that's something that I'm working on.
Love it. So do you personally enjoy working with women more one-on-one, or do you like the group coaching?
Ooh, I like the group. I actually struggle. I in the past struggled with one-on-one. I can get on stage, I can speak to hundreds of people. I am comfortable. I'm like my dad with that. He could speak like he we flourish in front of people speaking and teaching. One-on-one, I've had to work on.
Okay.
But obviously the coaching is different, right? Because it's not about you. And that's what I had to get over too. It's like even doing interviews like this. Like I could get on stage and speak, but doing interviews that are recorded was, oof, and even doing it, on social media. And I continue to work on that. There's something about being in front of the camera, talking to the camera. Does that make sense? Like I have been on TV before, no problem with that. It's just something with feeling like I'm talking to a camera and not knowing who's out there. And then I think also having the space where the trolls can come in and comment and stuff. So I had to be in a place where I could handle that before I really moved forward. So God's been working a lot. I mean, I'm very on a lot of different levels. And that's
No.
what I want to, like make sure like we always have things to work on, right? There's always thoughts that we
Yeah.
need to take captive. We are constantly renewing our minds. It's a process and it's a lifelong one. And I hope that doesn't discourage people. Um, because sometimes we want to do like a one and done thing. Like, okay, did my work, I'm good. But
Yeah, we're continuously growing and leveling up and maturing for sure. It fascinating how we're all wired different. Like you were talking about, speaking on a stage, second nature. Most people that terrifies them, and
Mhm.
then you didn't use the word terrified, but you had to grow in the one-on-one.
Mhm.
And I'll be vulnerable here for a second. I think it was as recent as 6, 8 months ago. I was terrified to do a Facebook Live.
Yes, yes.
I hadn't
Same.
done it before. I thought it had to be polished.
Hmm.
And, now I'm here live making mistakes all the time. And I just kind of shrug my shoulders at it. That's part of what live is. You just being your authentic self.
Yes, yes, and that's exactly same with me. With realizing, like, before I came on here, I prayed and I said, Holy Spirit, just give me the words to say, talk through me, use me as your vessel. This is not about me. This is about the message that God has given to me for women like me. Like I am, I get asked, well, who's your ideal woman or audience or whatever. It's me. It's women like me who, maybe you've gotten to the point in your life where it's like, how did I get here? Right? I mean, I was divorced about almost 20 years ago. I thought for sure by now I'd be remarried. Um, and came close. My my just a few months ago, my fiance decided he wanted to be alone. So here I am, and at the same time when my dad was dying and then he did die, and it has been a rough few months. But I know the place that I'm in now, even compared to a few months ago, is different. Like I've grown in just the last few months too. Like I know God's protected me from something. I know that I really believe one reason it happened was because um, I needed to become more intimate with Jesus. I needed to depend on him more instead of a man. No offense, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like
Absolutely.
so many of us women, we long so much for that love and the belonging and feeling like we have that life partner. Um, the ring that I wore was signified belonging to someone, but God wanted me to look at the cross and be like, you already belong to me, and I want
Hmm.
you to be in alignment with me first before I give you someone else.
Absolutely. And let's camp there for a second because I know who you're rooted in. You just talked about Jesus.
Mhm.
And you and I share something, different circumstances, but I think it's fair to say, based on conversations I've had with you, 2025 has been brutal for me and my family.
Mm,
And I think it's been the same for you.
yes.
And you alluded to some of it with the fiance, your dad's passing, which I'm so sorry for his passing. Um, even though you're rooted in Jesus, you couldn't not wrestle with feelings of unworthiness through that, right? Would that be fair to
Oh,
say?
absolutely. Absolutely. I had to, you know, the little voice was like, see, told you,
Mm,
you're unlovable. What are you doing? You're a failure. You're never going to find someone to love you. You're never going to be successful at what you do, because when you're going through major life changes too, sometimes business gets put on the back burner for a little bit, right? And so it was all those old limiting beliefs coming, resurfacing. But so when you've worked on those limiting beliefs and you have, like I said, taking those thoughts captive, right? That's what the Bible tells us to do, to take
yeah,
those thoughts captive and to renew your mind. Like you have to, I mean, I was angry. I was very angry at first,
sure.
along with my family and friends. So I had that support, right? So I could have like really continued in that anger. And there's still things are surrounding it that aren't resolved yet, but um, I had to, and a lot of my friends, because there's a situation with some of my belongings, um, that, my friends are like, you need to do this. And I said, I had to pray about it because I was like, I was just depleted. I was depleted between, basically losing my life was turned upside down. And then I lost my dad. And I said, listen,
Mm.
I can't. I'm empty right now. And I prayed about it and I asked God what I need to do in this situation. And one word came and it was wait. I was just wait. And so in the waiting, I have grown. I can honestly say that I can call him Papa God now.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I didn't have the intimacy with him before. Um, but
Mm.
I have grown and I really believe, like God's plan is bigger than ours. It is better than ours. So no matter whatever it was that I was planning, he's like, no, I need you to take this detour for now. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to surrender, keep every day. Like, surrendering isn't a one-time thing. It's daily. You might have to
Yeah.
surrender certain situations, certain relationships, whatever it is. Um, just keep surrendering and obeying. And obey is like this four-letter word in our culture, right? Um, but when you obey God and get into alignment with his will for you, it is it's like freedom. Like it's hard to explain, isn't it? Like as a Christian, sometimes it's hard. It's like, what do you mean? How can obeying something, or someone be freedom? And it just it is. It's just like I know you got my life verse ever since I got saved at 14 was Philippians 4:13. Or I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But the last few months, another verse, can I read it to you?
Sure.
Is Isaiah 41:13.
Love it.
For I hold, for I hold you by your right hand. So this is like Papa God has got my right hand, right? Like think of this like as a daughter and a father or a son and a father. I, the Lord your God, and I say to you, don't be afraid. I'm here to help you. Like God's got your back. Like he's got my back in this whole situation, whatever's going on, whether it's relationship or work or where I'm gonna live, whatever's going on, like he's got my back. And being able to just trust that and also makes me feel like I am worthy. Like I am worthy of God's love. Um, and when he's got your back, that's right.
So, Psalm 34. Of course, the old NIV's, talking about a man. Of course, we're talking about men and women.
Mhm.
He oh my gosh, almost just misquoted it. He brings them out of all their troubles.
Yeah.
And sometimes life is just messy.
Yes.
And sometimes all the details don't go the way we want. It sounds
Mhm.
like you still got some residual stuff, but there's always going to be residual stuff. And what I'm hearing in your obedience, in your surrender, he has given you the peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yes. Yes.
That's what came to my mind as you were explaining
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
And I love that. I love what you just read out of Isaiah also.
Mhm.
Um,
And three verses above that, verse 10, 41:10. Don't be afraid, for I'm with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious
my
right
righteous
hand.
right hand. Yeah.
So he's holding you up by his right hand, and then he's got holding your right hand,
Yeah.
like he's got
Yeah.
you covered, right?
Yeah.
It's
He's amazing. So, Carrie, what what is next for you? Uh, is it more of helping women like you always have been, which is I'm sure there's still that, but is there something new on the horizon that you can share with us as well?
well. I also, several months ago, in my devotions, and it said, because we're human, right? We want to like, God, just show me what you got planned for me. Like, just
Yeah,
lay it out,
right.
show me, right? We don't like the waiting thing, the wondering. But in it, the author said, just ask God to show you part of what he has planned for you. But here's the kicker. Then sit there and wait and be still and quiet and wait for the answer, right? Because so many times we'll throw something out there and it's like we're not still enough and quiet enough to wait and get the answer. So I did. And I didn't even have to wait, Steve. Like it immediately came and he said, the vision that came to me immediately was me walking up onto stage. Because a couple years ago, I also felt that nudge. God's like, it's time for you to get back on stage. And I said, okay, okay, I love teaching. He's like, but no, not the way that you've done in the past. This time I want you to tell your story. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa it up, God.
Hello.
Because my story's not pretty. Like I've made so many mistakes. Some that I'm ashamed of. And that's, that shame is peace is, I feel like a lot of us live in the shadow of shame. And because of that, um, we don't live out, it's hard to get into alignment with God when you're living in shame. However, I'll remind you, he already knows.
That's right.
Right? He already knows what you've done. He's forgiven you, through Jesus, he's forgiven you. Um, but mine more was like, oh my gosh, no, if people knew some of the things I did, one, they probably never believe it. And two, like, that's my reputation. Like, what am, but he is using that because it connects with people. So your story God can take your mess and make it your message. And all the tests you've gone through, your testimony, like it's it's um it's amazing and it's getting easier to share my story, including the not so pretty parts of it. You don't have to go into full details, but yeah, it's not pretty. But so I've, my signature talk and all that. It's a different way of I guess getting the message out is through my story.
I want to encourage you. And, I'm still working on keynotes and talks and all those things too. Um, I have one particular talk. This is something that happened in my life 21, 22 years ago. Ugly, ugly. I wasn't a Christian yet, but it was the final thing that God used to drive me to my knees to get
Mhm.
there eventually. I won't go into detail either, but I, for 1 minute from stage, and I've done it virtually and in person, I describe that sin. And I don't go into detail, but it's a jaw dropper. And people are like, tell me more. And you're absolutely right that our mess is our message.
Mhm.
And we lead with vulnerability. People are drawn to that, people are endeared to that, and they want to know more of that story. But what they're really wanting is to know that you relate to them and how did you overcome. And you and I will always point upward
Yep.
is how we overcame. And I love that about your story. I've heard pieces of your story before, and it is very, very powerful. So don't I know the enemy doesn't want you to share that. I
Mhm.
know you're those days when you're not so confident, you don't want to share it, but I just want to be another voice that says go share it and go share it with all the confidence that you can muster, confidence in God. And I love it. I love what you're doing, Carrie. Where can people find you on social media?
Oh, I'm on Facebook, Carrie Michele Myers, Michelle with one L, and Instagram, Carrie Myers, I think is just what it is. And I think you're going to put them down below too, right?
Yeah, we'll have it in the notes shortly for sure. Um, any last words of encouragement for our viewers?
I think just, with my motto where, you're not too late, you're right on time, is that it doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you're at in life. Trust me, I've used one reason I'm not a little further along because I threw out a lot of excuses, whether it's time or money or skills or whatever it was. But God is still, he's patient. He's a patient God. And he can use everything you've gone through to this point to help you no matter what your desire is. I always, working with women, think of, picture yourself as a little girl. What dreams did you have? Because at some point we're taught to stop dreaming, right?
Mm,
We're taught like, go, here's what you need to do to be an adult. And we stop dreaming. And maybe you're a midlife mom like me who thought your life would be different by now. But it's not too late. It's not too late to get into alignment with your God-given assignment and go for it and create, this next part of your life, however long that is. And I think also to leave a legacy, right? The longer I'm in it, the more I see also the generational trauma in bonds that hold us back. So helping women break those and to just to gain the confidence to create this second chapter of your life or the second act, however you want to put it. It's not too late. There was a wonderful story on the news the other day. I think he was a World War II veteran, 102 years old, just became a songwriter. He wrote a
wow.
song and it's being sung. So you're not too late. You are right on time.
I love that.
Mhm.
I love that. 102 years old wrote his first
Yeah.
song. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So what
amazing.
excuse can we have, right?
Yeah, and maybe I'm just now hearing it. But a quote that's resonated with me the past couple of weeks, I'm sure it's been out there for a while, but I'm slow to the party, I guess, is who is suffering because you're playing small?
Mm,
And I was like,
I got another one for
ooh,
you.
okay.
Because and this hit me. This was I don't know, maybe 3 years ago or so. It was at a training and they said, you're being selfish if God's given you a message and you're not. I was like,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
because selfishness is one of my kind of triggers, I guess. Like I feel like when I was younger, I was selfish and things like that. Um, so I was like, whoa, like, right? Because listen, if God's
This.
given you a message or a business idea or whatever it is, like that's from Him. You don't have to. That's not from you. That's something God's given you to do, and that is your assignment from Him. And we need to do what we can to make it happen.
Yes, I totally agree. And I'll end it with one more. This was said to me when I was praying about going into the ministry, and I was in that waiting period that you were talking about,
Mhm.
but applying it to all of us, if God put it on your heart. Now, you do have to discern that.
Right, right,
But
yes.
if God indeed put it on your heart, he wants it more than you do.
Mm,
Let that sink in for a minute.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
if he put it on your heart, he's going to move mountains for it
yes,
to happen.
yes,
And sometimes I think we do sit behind, I'm waiting on God. And
yes.
sometimes we are, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I think there's an equal amount of time that He's waiting on us to
Yes,
move in it. So,
absolutely. I love that.
Carrie, I love your heart for God. I love your heart for the women you serve. And I love how you shared your heart with my viewers today. This has been awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for being with
Thank
us.
you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Guys, I'm not going to say a whole lot more other than your story's not over yet.
That's right.
God's not done with you yet. Believe that.
That's
Appreciate each one of you. Till the next time, have a great afternoon. God bless.